And once I just tackled one tiny thing at a time, the freedom and liberation that happened because of that was insurmountable. Every shift you want to make in your life, it starts with home. I'm Ariel, your host, and this is the podcast where design meets intention, energy, and becoming more you. Let's dive in. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of It Starts With Home. I'm Ariel. I am super excited to be here today. We are talking about the power of your home. And at its core, we're talking about why your space matters more than you think it does. Okay, it impacts everything in your life. I know I'm an interior designer, but I literally want to talk about this week the power of designing your interior life, your life itself, and all the things in between. It is going to be such a joy. Let's get started. Because your space holds so much power with you and next to you, it controls so many things, and I think that can propel you forward, or it can also hold you back. And this is what I mean by that. When you have a space that authentically represents who you are, you feel held, loved, cared for, all the things in your space, you're allowed to do other things because you're freeing energy to do so. You can paint, you can draw, you can do the extra yoga class. You almost have this new capacity on life because you feel so held and safe. But when you're held back, it looks like, I can't tackle that room right now. It's just so overwhelming. I have that closet to finish, but I just can't get started on it. I'm sitting here in analysis paralysis and I just can't move. I just can't do it. I'm sitting and I can't fix this corner of my home and it's driving me nuts every day, and the to-do list gets longer and longer and longer. Do you see the difference of propelling you forward and holding you back? That's what I want to deep dive into today, because I firmly believe interior design is not just about aesthetics. It's more about authenticity, but it's also the journey of designing your life. Everything, without a doubt, in my opinion, starts with home. Your healthy and your unhealthy habits start at home. The way you think and believe and see the world starts at home. Everything has to do with home, and we have to curate a life that represents who we are so well to energetically free up space and allow us so much more liberation and so much more freedom. And that is the power of interior design. I want to get into a personal story because I think it will help you better understand what I'm talking about when I say space will deeply impact your mood. I want us to think about back in 2020, it was really in the midst of the pandemic, and everybody was focused on their home because we spent so much time in it. We had every hour of every waking minute inside of our home, and it felt like everybody just started to take it so seriously because we had no other option. I had clients coming to me left, right, and center. I need help now because I'm stuck in this space that's ill-defined. It's deeply affecting my habits and my health, and I don't know what to do about it. It's more than just the aesthetics. Of course, I want a new couch and all of those things, but it's also I'm in the process of up-leveling my life, and I need someone or something to help me through that. So this is my story. In the pandemic, I turned 25 and I found out I had ADHD. Now, I was shocked, but it made so much sense. And I think at first I struggled with that. I struggled to understand, and I felt sad that as a kid I didn't get the resources or the help that maybe I could have had or used or benefited from. But as an adult, how deeply it affected my unhealthy habits like procrastination or the deep unmotivation when something wasn't aligned, which later became a superpower of ADHD. When I'm not aligned with something, I deeply feel not motivated and I'm not going to do it. When I'm excited about something and lit up about something, that is my superpower. I can be in deep focus for hours, for days. That's the magic. But I didn't know that. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the resources. But here's how it affected my home. On top of having ADHD, also a Virgo. And maybe you know a lot about these two things, or maybe absolutely nothing, so I'll just break it down. ADHD is what it is. in my opinion. It means sometimes I'm really focused on something and sometimes I'm really not, and I have a hard time sitting still and doing anything. On the other hand, I'm a Virgo. It means I'm highly organized. I love a plan. I love things in their way, in my way. And when something doesn't happen my way, I'm derailed. And that's the ADHD part. So how this started to look in my home is in the pandemic, I was at home all the time. So things just became cluttered. There's a blanket on the floor here. Oops, I left my extra laundry over there and the dishes are piling up. And it was just like clutter, 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 clutter. And it was too much. And at some point when I felt like I couldn't tackle it anymore, it really deeply contributed to anxiety and, for me, depression. When I'm in a depression loop or feeling really sad, my space reflects that. In times of high stress, I can remember as a kid going through finals and trying to study, and my room would be a mess. The kitchen counter would be a mess because all my energy and all my focus was going on to studying for tests, or in this case, all my energy and focus was going into overworking for clients. So I didn't have time to take care of myself, and I didn't have time to take care of my home. It reflected in my showering habits. It reflected in how I just didn't take self-care seriously, and I don't think I even knew what that was. My point is that it started with home. Once I recognized that the clutter for me, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I can speak for me, contributed to the deep amount of anxiety and depression that I was experiencing, and once I just tackled one tiny thing at a time, the freedom and liberation that happened because of that was insurmountable. Because the laundry that had stacked up, even if I just did a few pieces out of that pile a day, it motivated me to do the rest of the things. It was almost like a slow dopamine rush. When you choose to make the bed in the morning, we know from science it releases dopamine. When we choose to open our phone in the morning and doom scroll on TikTok for an hour, that's fast hits of dopamine. And right now in my life, and since the pandemic, since learning this about myself, I am chasing slow dopamine. So let's get into that. I want you to think about your favorite vacation, or maybe your idealized vacation, maybe your favorite hotel, hotel lobby, cafe, somewhere that it's a vibe. It's beautiful. It holds you. You just feel amazing, okay? You just close your eyes and you love that space. For me, it's a hotel lobby. There's interaction of people, there's coffee, there's maybe a little mocktail. There's a lot happening, but somehow, some way, I feel held, I feel supported, and I chase that feeling, okay? That's the feeling I want to source and bring into my personal life. I'm not saying I'm going to go copy the hotel lobby's style, although I love their wallpaper. It really means I'm going to get that vibe. I'm going to take whatever I'm feeling about that space and I'm going to bring it home with me somehow, some way. I will find a way to do it, okay? The first thing I usually notice in those spaces are the senses. Taste, touch, smell, tactile, anything that's awakening me in those spaces are what I want to bring home with me. So I think we can start with what I see. That can be artwork, wallpaper, that kind of like visual stuff, all the way to scent. My favorite candle is a hotel scent. I just love it, and it brings me back to a transformative place. But it connects me with that, and it builds this connection at home that really ignites my feelings and my emotions, and it connects me to something deeper because it's connected to a memory. So whatever that is for you, I really encourage you to think about that and almost build that into what we're going to get into, which is habits and so many truth bombs and really exciting things. Back to the hotel lobby or your favorite space. Think about the lighting or the scent and how that almost shifted your energy. Like the first thing that you gravitated towards in that space, that big fluffy chair or whatever it might be, the fireplace, whatever, and you're sitting by, you're just like, oh, I feel so at home here. Why is that? What is that feeling, and how can you take that and bring it home with you to increase those healthy habits? And here's how. Our habits change when we're on vacation for obvious reasons. We don't have work, we don't have responsibilities other than showing up and going to breakfast and maybe going out to dinner and walking around, right? We don't have responsibilities other than our own empowerment at that point. Our habits begin to change. Maybe we have breakfast in bed in the room. Maybe we grab coffee in the lobby, or we come back early for a nap. We have a mocktail in the little cafe. We have dinner. Like, we're doing all these kind of sporadic things that we wouldn't do in our everyday life. But I somehow fall in love with those like mini little habits. And I think it's changed my perspective to bring them home with me. What that meant for me in a hotel experience was this almost like sacred awakening and having a really slow start in your vacation experience, grabbing a coffee or a tea either in the room or outside the room, but you're generally just slower than usual. I fell in love with that, and I've built that into my everyday routine. I spend an hour and a half getting up, not getting ready, but just slowly moving. And I wake up earlier to encourage myself to move slowly. I'm not the person to get up and do a 2-hour workout and all that stuff. No. I get up early so I have more time to journal. I have more time to meditate. I have more time to walk my dogs. I have more time to just do nothing. Just be. That is so freeing. So those vacation habits that we have that you enjoy, not the unhealthy ones, but the healthy ones, the ones that light you up, bring those home with you. They really change your perspective on your home. And that can be, again, the interior design of it all, the fabrics, materials, artwork, the visual stuff, the comfy stuff, the things that remind you of your trip to Mexico. It can also be the habits, the rituals, the awakenings, all of those beautiful things. All this to say, your home and wherever you're at is not just a backdrop. You're a co-creator in that environment always, and especially at home. Every choice that you make in your home matters, and not because of the durability of the material and the sofa that you're sitting on. Obviously, those things matter, but it's about the intention and where you place your energy. Because you're a co-creator in your environment, it means that your mood, your mindset, your momentum every single day is impacted by that. Another great example. I love to look out at my open windows, even though I can probably see the neighbors and maybe the neighbors can see me. That's okay. I need to see the sun every morning, and that is a deep habit for me because when I don't see the sun in the morning, it's gloom and doom, and I feel sad, and I want to feel happy when I get up. You see how we're designing the quote-unquote interior of our life just by paying attention to the tiny little things. And I ask you this week, pay attention to them. The good, the bad, the ugly, just like pay attention. You don't have to make a list. Just become aware of the things in your space that you love, that energize you, that you hold deep gratitude towards, because those are the things we want to highlight and emphasize in your space. You're always in relationship with your space, with your home, with wherever you're at, okay? I know a lot of people talk about sometimes the relationship between love and finances and how those are connected and how we should treat our finances like a partner, like a relationship that we're in, and I firmly believe in that. We should also treat our home as a relationship that we're partnered in, okay? Our home nurtures us and takes care of us more than most people and most things will in our life. It's often the most expensive purchase that we make in our lifetime, whether you own or you rent. It creates shelter and provides shelter for you every day, hot, cold, whatever. It provides you the ability to cook inside your home, wherever you're at, inside or outside. It allows you to have guests and family over, or you participating in somebody else's home. It's the story of all of our childhoods. Again, good, bad, or ugly, it's just home. It's just home. We all have a connection to our childhood bedroom, even if we wouldn't design it that way as an adult. It's just part of who we were or who we are. And we have to connect back to that to really understand the habits and so much of the space impact. The point is honor your space. Be in relationship with your space. Show gratitude for your space, even if it's not done. Even if you're struggling to finish it and you have that one room or that one closet that's just bugging you. We'll get into how to deal with that in a second, but show gratitude. Your home is showing you so much love and giving you so much back. It's time that we stop chasing the done interior and we start enjoying the transition, the in-between space, the space that's never done. You see how I can appreciate the hotel lobby because it's done, but I can take pieces and parts of things that make me happy and fill my cup in the transition of my own home. It doesn't have to be done, and it'll probably never be done, and that's okay. If you made it this far, I think you should know I have a masterclass coming up on June 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific. It is going to be a wild, magical, fantastic hour where you can deep dive into my best interior design hacks that I use on every single project. I don't even think my clients know these secrets. I'm going to give it away to you all for free on June 17th. So please come join. There's a link. Go get it. It's going to be fantastic. Please show up. You don't want to miss this. Also, if you can't make that time, there will be a recording, so please register. I would love to see your beautiful face. It's going to make wild changes in your home forever. Here are some signs that your space is negatively affecting you, and we need to deal with it. We need to level up, and we're going to tackle it, and we're going to tackle it together. So here we go. If you're feeling drained or anxious about a space or spaces in your home, yep, it's time to deal with it. If you're avoiding certain spaces or feeling stuck, paralyzed, can't make a decision, or just frozen, something's got to move, something's got to change. If you're in the belief that someday I'll get to it, next summer I'll do it, next winter break I'll do it, we need to make some moves. And generally, if you're having trouble focusing or relaxing in your space in general or a specific space, it's time to rock the boat. It's time to make some changes, babe. This is a hack that works for me all the time. It is something, again, that I tie back to that I learned because I have ADHD. And it is that I make one tiny little incremental step every single day. So here we go. I have a corner on my kitchen counter that just collects everything. I know most of my clients have this. Most people have this. Maybe it's the junk drawer. It's a space that just collects. Here's what I'm doing to deal with it this week. I'm taking one item from this countertop area and putting it in a new home in which it will live for an amount of time until I see fit. It doesn't mean I'm moving the item from one space on the countertop to another. It means I'm actually going to find a dedicated home for it. So right now, this corner, it collects my fruit bowl, my cutting boards, random candles, sage, incense, and the mail. Okay, so I need to find a place for all of these things because I know me and many other people, not everybody, clutter gives them anxiety. Or it makes me just feel like I'm out of control for some reason. That, again, that's just me. I'm not saying that everyone has to be a minimalist, and by far, I am not a minimalist, but it means that having a place and a purpose for things for me makes me feel good. So take this if it resonates and use this in any way that you see fit. I'm going to take one thing from that countertop every single day over the course of the next week, and I'm going to find a home for it. I've done 3 days so far. I feel really accomplished. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I put the candles away in a new home. So when they're not lit and they're not on, they just live in the cabinet. They're just away, and that's fine. I found a place in a drawer for my sage and incense, and they're just going to live there now instead of being all over the countertop. And I'm also going to reorganize the fruit bowl. I'm probably going to find somewhere to put the cutting boards. I don't know where yet. But you can already see how just one tiny thing at a time, I'm motivated the next day to do the next thing. It's really exciting. Here's how you can apply this to your own space. Let's say you have the guest room that is just sitting empty or it's very bleh. Nothing's happening to it. Maybe you need to paint the walls, get new bedding, get a headboard. There's a to-do list. Throw out the to-do list. We're going to do one tiny step. Let's just start with the wall paint. Today, what you're going to do is narrow down the 3 wall paints or 3 lime washes, just 3 things, down to the options. You're just going to pick the top 3. You're going to go with tangerine, peach, and cream. I don't know, whatever the colors you want, okay? Tomorrow, you're going to narrow that down to 2. The next day, you're going to narrow it down to 1. By the end of the week, you will have made a selection on what paint color you want to go with. And maybe next week, what you can do is go buy the paint. And then one day you can go buy the roller. You see how you're breaking it down into really tiny incremental steps? Just one thing, 0 pressure. This is why it works for me. I wanted to wake up every day and, like I said, have those really slow mornings and be really intentional about them. But it meant I wanted to do this really ambitious list. I want to have my coffee, journal, meditate, and do yoga all by 9:30. Well, that's crazy. When I do that, when I put harsh restrictions on myself, I have to do these 5 things by 9:30 a.m. I never do them. Nope. Instead, I say, Ariel, today's a really nice day. I'm really grateful I got up early. I'm going to be slow. I have from 8:30 to 9:30 today to do these 5 things. If I do one of them, I am gonna feel like a badass. If I do none of them, that's okay. I have tomorrow. Do you know what happens every time I do that? I don't finish all 5 every day, but I finish like at least 2, sometimes 3. No pressure. When I put my yoga mat out the night before and I just leave it in the living room and I'm like, let's see what happens. I do yoga. 0 pressure. 0. I just left the yoga mat out. I should probably do that. So do that with your space. Be kind, be slow, be gentle. There is no rush. There is no reason that you need to put this insurmountable pressure on yourself to have it done today. You just don't. Even if we go back to the guest bedroom and you have a guest coming over this weekend and they're going to come stay with you, maybe they'll help you paint the wall or pick the wall paint color, or maybe they're going to go shopping with you and pick out some nice bedding. Like, you're not alone in this. You don't have to do all of these things alone in the belief that no one will help you. We're breaking up with those old beliefs. One tiny little thing a day is going to dramatically change your life, because here's the belief. If we change one tiny thing in our home and that stacks up to all the thousands of things that we did in our home, and then one day it's just going to feel really complete and held and done, we're going to be so proud of ourselves. Because look at all those tiny little steps to get to that one big archway. And when you're in a space that holds you and makes you feel safe and you invest your time and intention in, it reflects everywhere else. Because let me tell you, a year from now, when the guest bedroom is done and your friend comes to stay with you or your family member, they're going to feel so inspired because you did that. And they're going to get inspiration so they can go do that. Maybe not in their guest bedroom, but maybe in their kitchen. It's a ripple effect, and it affects everywhere through the rest of your life. It means that you can start more healthy habits. It means that, I want to start to go to the gym now, and here's how I'm going to prepare my home to get me to move to the gym. I'm going to leave my gym bag out here. I'm going to place my yoga mat here. I'm going to do all of these things because it starts with home, with the belief that intentionality and designing your life impacts the soul. And you're in charge. You have the power to co-create, to build this relationship with your space through gratitude, through understanding, through honoring the transition. It's holding you just as much as you're holding it. Okay, so your homework of the week. I just want you to pay attention to what feels good or what doesn't feel good in the space. If you like lists, you can totally make a list. I'm very overwhelmed with them. I'm not into that. Pick the top 2, okay? And those are the things you're going to tackle. But just pay attention to the things that are lighting you up and the things that are draining your energy. I'd really emphasize, put more energy in the things that light you up and less energy in the things that drain you. An example might be, I have this beautiful window wall. and a blank space next to it. I love the natural light that comes in every single morning, but the blank wall drains me. It makes me feel sad. I want something beautiful on my wall. I'm going to put my whole energy over the next week and a half onto figuring out what I want on that blank wall so that when I look at the sun every morning, I also have a beautiful piece of artwork on the wall. It's a balance, okay? So focus on the things that ignite you, that you love, put energy into those. Put less energy into the things that are draining you, such as reorganizing the closet. That feels really ambitious right now. Let's focus on the tiny little things that'll make a big impact so you get more and more motivated to tackle the harder stuff. One thing at a time. Okay, if you've heard the podcast before, you know that I have an ending ritual and it is called Space Whispers. So here's the one for the week. This is what I wrote down in my journal yesterday, and I just felt like everybody needed to hear it. Your space reflects how you feel, and it can also shape how you want to feel. So start small, start anywhere. Okay, thank you so much for joining. If this resonated, please let me know. I would love, love, love to hear from you. Don't forget, Masterclass, June 17th, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you can't make that time, there will be a recording, so please register. I want to see you there. Have a beautiful day.